Record. Okay. Yay. Okay. All right, you guys, welcome. This is our week 1 new coach training. So last week we did our kickoff call and we just kind of like went over basic stuff. The most important things we talked about last week were the 4 vital behaviors. And so that's kind of what we're talking about this week, just like diving into those deeper and like now you kind of know what they are. And then this week we're going to kind of talk to you about how to actually like start implementing them and using them to like grow your business. It sounds like maybe more complicated than it is. So we're gonna, let me share my screen and I will pull up this PowerPoint or something once I get my life together. Irene, do you remember what we talked about last week? Was there anything else that like, I don't even know.
Well, I mean, we were kind of just going over like what to expect in this next month of trainings.
Right.
And we understand that it's like, it's a little scary to like announce your new business and, you're like kind of getting your feet wet and you're not used to doing the stuff and having conversations. So, I think it's helpful. I mean, any new job you start, like you probably have a list of like things that you need to do each day that you go to your job, so like, it's kind of a matter of learning how to do each of those things. And then the more you do it, the easier, it just kind of becomes second nature. So with the business activity tracker, Beachbody like interviewed over the years, like has interviewed all of the people that are in the top, 200 of our business, all the elite coaches who were obviously able to make success of this business, and ask them, what are the things that you're doing? Like, what do you think is what like people need to be doing to build this business? And so they kind of created this checklist as the baseline. Like, if you do these things, this is how you build a successful business. So it's kind of like that. It's like a simple to-do list, where it kind of lays it all out for you. And our job is to just teach you, like break down each of the things a little bit, but it's really just a matter of getting into the habit of doing it and doing it consistently so you can grow your business.
Yes, now I'm getting distracted. Yes, I agree. So I'm like pulling this up. I don't know that we need it right this second, but I'm just going to do it anyway. So, okay, the recap from last week. So most of you hopefully have done this. I just wanted to so we are talking about that. But then last week, hopefully by now you've launched your business. We talked about that last week too. That's what I wanted to remember. I knew we were like kind of forgetting something. So doing your coach announcement is like the first most important step because people need to know that you're open for business. And then after that, like pretty much as soon as possible, you're going to want to start doing these vital behaviors, which is what we're going to show you today. So I thought we would do, Irene, I didn't really talk to you about this, but I thought when we go to open this, I'll just do a back office tour. If you want to talk about it or I can, it doesn't matter, just to show them kind of like where they set their website up, direct deposit. You should make sure you've watched the Getting Started Right videos, and then we'll show you where a share a card is. Then we'll do the vital behaviors really quick. So
yeah, sounds good.
Okay, cool. So your back office, basically, let me go open a new tab. I go to coach.teambeachbody.com. On your cell phone too, it'll look different. Actually, I think it's easier on your mobile device to get right to like the tracker and stuff. It's like right there.
So the tracker, yeah, but for most other stuff,
this is easier. Yeah.
This is easier, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So right here, this training tab up at top, there's a bunch of things. So training here is where you're going to find the Getting Started Right videos. This is like taking forever to load. Doesn't matter. What else did I say we were going to show them? Getting started. Oh, where to set up your direct deposit. Yeah. So that'll be in Monitor My Business. If my computer works, I need to give it a minute. Okay. Training, Getting Started Right, Monitor My Business. Oh my God. My computer. It's freaking out. Come on, guys.
I had to delete a bunch of stuff from my computer yesterday because it was going so slow.
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, so in Monitor My Business, this is where actually you'll like over here where it says compensation. This is where you'll go and you can find like your earnings and commissions. You can look at your paychecks each week, different like your team volume stuff, which is not stuff you need to worry about right now, but just know that's where it is for now. And then this My EFT Management, if you click on that, you can set up your direct deposit. I would do that like today
Yeah,
because we get paid weekly on Thursdays. And if you don't, then they'll send you a paper check and it's going to take a lot longer. And they take like $2 or $3 out just for like, processing it. So do that today before you even sign a new one up. That would be my suggestion.
agreed.
Um, Setting up your personal website. That's probably in the training.
That is in the training. The only thing I want to say about that is, and I'm sure actually I bet in the training there's probably a link to it,
Yeah.
like how to do it. It should probably be in Grow My Business, but
Yeah.
it's important to
Next.
like, I don't personally, it's not like, I send my website from Beachbody to people, right? It's more so like it's integrated with bod groups. And when we're about to merge with a company, we're about to go public, they're about to have a lot more money to do advertisements. We're going to have a lot more people. Like Beachbody is just going to become a more visible and known name. So when people randomly come to the site, like you fill out a bio on your website, and that's kind of like, it tells a little bit about your story, your methodology as a coach, like what kind of stuff you believe in and what you focus on in your groups. So it's like kind of your profile, like, or like an expanded bio. And so people have the ability to like sift through those and find somebody that they match with, but also it pops up in your bod. So people that are customer leads, we'll talk about that too. I don't know when we're talking about hitting Emerald and the benefits of that, but once you get to certain ranks and you start building your business, Beachbody gives you free leads. And these people, like, you don't know them. They're just random people that sign up through the website without a coach. And then you kind of just they get assigned to you. So it helps them understand like, oh, I have a coach and like, her name's Irene and this is what she does. And these are the groups she runs. So it's a better opportunity for them to actually participate with us, which a lot of us know is like the community and the coaching part of Beachbody is what helps to make it so
Yeah.
successful with people, like how to help people get through their journey and actually like stick with something and that kind of thing. So I do think it's helpful to set it up. It's not something you're going to need to like update all the time, but just make sure that you do have something in there so that when you get to that
Yeah.
place,
You just
not
want to change it because it's like whatever they'll have something like on default in there for you, and it's just kind of a little cheesy and weird. And so like you just want it to sound like something you would actually say and not like salesy or weird. And so
yeah.
I would just
And
go
your
there and just
picture.
don't overthink it. Maybe spend 5 minutes on it. Go look at your coach's site or something and see what they have, and then just maybe copy and paste something like that because it doesn't. But like Irene said, this is not something you need to focus too much on. But I would just change it from the
Yeah. Once
default.
you do it once, you can kind of forget it and put your picture in there too. So people can see
Yeah.
you're like a real
That's a
person.
good one. Yes. Good, good, good. Okay. Okay. Also too, this is where you'll find share a cart. So if you don't know how to do this, but this is where you're going to send if you get someone signed up, you send them a cart. It's super easy for them. It's easy for you. And we can go over that too, maybe a different day. I don't think it's super important. It's something I can go over one-on-one with people too. I think that's it. But then down here, this is like super exciting, you guys. We used to have to, this is our Success Club tracker. It says the daily activity tracker. That's what we're talking about a lot. That's basically what we're doing today. It's the Success Club system tracker training. And we used to have to print these out. I had a big binder. Last year I printed out one for every week, and I would that's where I kept track of everything. I still do like paper, but this is just really nice and super easy. And I'm glad that we have this now. And you guys, if we can see all of your stuff too. See, it says share with my coach. So this is a tracker. And it's basically all those vital behaviors that we talked about last week. So being proof the products work, connecting, inviting, following up, getting people results, and doing personal development. That's like our job description. Those are like the 4 main things we have to do every day in order to move our business forward. And this is basically just like the checklist. So every day you come on here and you check the things as you get them done. Like, so this morning, being proof the products work. You cannot share or invite or do anything competently in this business if you're not also like feeling your best and doing the things or doing your best at the things, right? So being proof the products work, working out, I did that today so I can check it off. I drink my Shakeology and at nighttime or during in the afternoon. So, but I'll just check it off. And then I added, because you can add a task. So things that like I would add, maybe like if you're, what would you add? I have like meditate here. That's like part of my morning routine. You could do something like affirmations or whatever. That's just,
Well, like I'm doing 75 hard, so I could add my
yeah.
second workout of the day. You can add what, and you can adjust, you can change them. So if it changes, you can delete it. But yeah, I love meditate, even the visualization stuff we were talking about on the team call. But you can,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely make it your own.
definitely. I'm just going to go over to personal development really quick too, because we did, and then we'll talk about, we're mainly talking about connecting, inviting, and following up today, but doing personal development again is like so freaking important. And Irene just did our whole team call basically about, it felt like kind of like a mindset thing because it's super important. So Irene, do you want to talk about personal development or do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think this is something that people, number one, at first, most people think they don't need it. I was one of those people. I think people also don't really know like how to choose it or what they're supposed to get out of it. And like if you don't connect with something and it doesn't like hit the spot for you, then you kind of feel like personal development is stupid and it doesn't work. But the reality is you just need to find the right one. So when you do find the right one and you do it consistently, it can be a total game changer in this business because mindset is like make or break. Like you either are building on and creating a really strong mindset and learning and growing as a person and as a leader in this business, or you're not. And when you're not, it's much harder for you to like overcome any obstacles. It's much harder for you to like not get discouraged when things don't happen the way you're expecting them to. So there's two very different ways. And I just like, if you're not already doing personal development, it's why it's in here. Like there's a reason, every single thing that's in here, like hundreds of top coaches have said, you have to do this to make this business work. And that's one of like, probably the most important one, aside from like working out and actually like being on your own journey. Like personal development is extremely important to maintain and build that strong mindset.
Yes, 100%. I agree. Some like I'm reading right now, I'm reading Start by John. I never know how to say his last name. Acuff, whatever. It's so good, but he's got another new one out too. I think last week we talked about the slight edge, which is like probably the slight edge or the compound effect, I think are really good starter ones, just as far as like business development goes, maybe not so much personal, but like just to get in that business mindset of like, when I do these little steps consistently, over time it's going to have a big impact. So like you might not see things happening right away, but you just like trust us and trust the process and like doing these little things that we're going to talk to you about today. They seem so simple and you're like, that can't possibly be how you grow a huge business or a small business, whatever size business you want, but it is. Like the top coaches, I will say this whole tracker that if you see here, it says that there's like a timer. So each of these things you can set a timer. I think if you do all of these things, it's supposed to take like an hour and 40 minutes. So the difference between like me, Irene, you, like there's no difference between any of us. We all are able to build this business because it's really simple. But the top coaches, the only thing that they're doing differently, and it's just like shocking every time they get on a call, we listen to what they're saying. It's like we want to know their secret, and like they don't have a secret. They just do this, and maybe they do it like 10 times, you know what I mean, a day. And so if you want to be successful doing this at least just once a day consistently, even if you have to cut it in half, if you only have 50 minutes that day, Irene was just telling the team too, like something is going to be better than nothing, and doing all of these things consistently, even if you have to cut the time in half, will be better than doing like nothing. So,
Or doing it like once a week or something
right.
like that.
I
Yeah.
think consistency is really important. So Okay, connect, invite, and follow up. So the first, we'll just go through these, right? So initiate connections and expand your network. You can do this. Irene, do you want to talk about Instagram or Facebook, or how do we want to do this?
Yeah, I mean,
I
so,
don't know if
okay,
people
we
love
just talked
Instagram.
about this too. Yeah, this was a lot of what the team call was just about.
Yeah.
So, um, and I need to always remember, like, we're on week 1 and I don't want this to feel overwhelming at all, but my goal with this whole training is like, I want you to leave here being like, okay, I can totally handle doing this. And because it isn't hard work. It's hard to make yourself do it consistently, right? Like it's hard, but it's new, so it might feel a little awkward, but like it's not difficult. Like it's very doable. It's very simple. It's just a matter of like actually showing up, implementing. And obviously, the more we do that, initiate connections and expand your network. Like again, everybody gets on the calls where the top coaches are there and they're sharing their system but the only reason they have a system is because they showed up every day and they figured it out, right? And my system and Alicia's system and Jackie, like it doesn't really matter it doesn't matter what the system is. All that matters is you actually like do it. And then the only system that makes sense for you is the one that you figure out that works for you, that you're actually going to do and implement. So it's basically like if we used this analogy last week, but like when you open a brick and mortar store, like if I was gonna, my whole goal when I was younger and I was going to school to be a dietitian, I like wanted my own wellness center, right? Like I wanted like a gym that had like a nutrition part, that had like a restaurant. Like I wanted all of it to be like together, and I knew everything kind of needed to be in one place. And that would take me hundreds of thousands of dollars to like start that business up. And there's no shot that if I actually got to that place, I would like post one time on social media being like, hey, I decided to open this gym. Like, I hope you'll support me. And then I would just like wait for people to come. Like I would be like knocking on everyone's door being like, you need to come because I just put my like life savings into like we need to go find people who we can connect with, who relate to either us right now or our before person, and invite them into our store. Social media is our store. We're telling our story. We're sharing our experience. We're telling them about the things that we have found to help. Like our issue was this is how it helped me. This is how I'm helping other people get through it. Like that whole thing, it kind of all goes together. So this entire section of this tracker, if you think about it, it's kind of like a well-oiled machine, right? Like if you're consistently on your social, practicing on telling your story and putting up posts and sharing your stories where it kind of gets more into the nitty-gritty of your reality show. So you have content, right? You have content up there that's helpful for people and that's inspiring and whatever. And then you spend some time each day going to find new people. And the way
maybe this, I'm sorry. This is maybe we should talk about having content, like doing a social media post and updating your stories. Like that's what you mean by content, correct?
So yeah, I think this is flipped. So I actually think that
we should do it first. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
first.
Yeah, having a post up that day. And like this is we do a lot of social media training, but like don't post and ghost is like when you post something, you should be like, that's the perfect time to then do your initiation, your connections and adding followers, because so like Instagram especially wants you to be actively social. And so when you do it, like when you get a post up and you put the 30 hashtags you need to put in each post, and then you go to each of those hashtags and you're going and interacting with other people that follow those hashtags. And you're like, if you're doing that stuff right after, you get rewarded in Instagram. They show you to more people and like that kind of thing. We're also like replying to comments. Like, I don't know if you guys follow big accounts and pay attention to how they do stuff. I never used to pay attention to how people did anything, but there's like a lot of the like DIY accounts that I follow. And they always, first of all, they might post once a week. Okay. Like, so they don't actually like post in their feed that much. And these are like big, huge accounts. So I'm
Not
not
what we
saying,
should be doing though, right?
no, that's not what we should be doing. I'm just saying like this is, so they're in, and they have like 1 million followers. This is like, I'm not saying to do this. I'm just saying like, it's interesting to see how this works, but they post like their time to post is every Sunday at 8:30 PM at their time. Like that's when they're posting. And they say like, I'm going to be responding to comments for an hour after I post. Like they'll sit there and respond to the first 500 comments because they're in there like in the most. So people are like waiting for their post to go up at 8:30 and go comment so that the person can comment back to, like, it's genius if you think about, you know what I mean? Like, but they're so deliberate and consistent in their, like their audience knows what to expect from them, right? So in general, like think about it like that. What kind of content, and this comes from like practice. Okay. You're not going to go make your first post and it's going to be like mind blowing and everyone's gonna be like, oh my God, sign me up with you. I have to, like that's not how it works. But when we're doing this every day, which is the point of this tracker, we're doing it every day. We're perfecting our skills of writing, of telling our story, of speaking our truth, of sharing our struggles and being vulnerable. All those things are not easy to do at the beginning, especially. It's hard, it's scarier things to do. So I went super far off on a tangent with this, but the most important thing is we have content up that the people that need to hear it, we need to bring them to it. You're right. Like, I don't want you to spend 30 minutes coming up with a post and I'm sure that it's going to be awesome. And then no people read it because you know what I mean? Because we're not working on also expanding our network. So once you do all these things together, it does work like a well-oiled machine because you have content you're putting up, you're going to find new people, you're connecting with those people, you're then following up or connecting with the people that you followed yesterday or the day before. And then you know what I'm saying? Like there's a whole system that works really well together. But if you think about taking out one of those things, it kind of makes the whole wheel super janky and it's not going to flow fluidly, right? So like you take out a social media post and you haven't posted in 2 weeks and you're going to connect with people, that people are going to be like, I don't even, like, she hasn't posted since May. What am I, you know what I'm saying? So like we need to have that constant.
We want people, when you go to connect with them, the first thing they're going to do, whether you're because we're going to talk to you guys about like inviting or just connecting and how, like, I will go through like how I do it specifically, but if like before people respond to me, most likely I imagine, because this is what I do, if I get a random DM from someone that's like, hey, like I love your profile, I will go look at their profile and I'll see, I'm like, who are they? You know, and I can see right away what they're about, what they're into, and if there's someone that is like my person. And so your post, like I would recommend, I don't think Irene does this, but like we don't recommend like you throwing like challenge pack prices and stuff up there, or just even like Beachbody, like just, we want your posts and your feed to be more about like, who are you? You obviously are, maybe you do have a recipe, maybe you have some workout stuff up there, but like besides that, like, because people can just go online and order Beachbody on demand, you know what I mean? So like they need to know who you are and what you're about. And so like for me, I do having posting theme really helps, I think too, like Irene was talking about, like having people know what to expect from you. That's why those big accounts, like they say on this day, I'm going to do this. And they've probably done that for a while. So their audience knows that every Sunday they respond to questions. And so we want your audience, even though you don't think you have an audience yet, you do. There's going to be people that are going to start watching you and maybe you don't even know it. We want them to know, okay, on Mondays, she's going to talk about mindset, whatever she's reading in her personal development. She's going to talk about that. On Tuesday, she's going to talk about her transformation, her emotional or physical transformations. On Wednesday, she talks about her coaching and this business opportunity. And so I know what I'm going to be talking about, like an idea each day, and my audience does too. And I think just in general, humans are drawn to like consistent, like not consistency, I don't know what the word is, but we like knowing what to expect. So from people especially. So I think having a post that, like kind of a post schedule, but we'll talk more about that too. So initiating connections, I want to just talk to you guys about how we do that, how I do it, and it might be different from how Irene does it, but it's probably really similar. So the first thing that I do when I go on Instagram, you can do this on Facebook too. It's just a little bit different, but on Instagram, this is like finding new friends. So you already probably have a group of people that you're connected with on social media or Facebook, or Instagram or Facebook. And so this is about adding new people to those, because eventually you're going to have probably talked to all those people that you already know, like from high school and college and church and blah, blah. So this, like initiating new connections is so important. And I didn't do this for probably the first 3 months of my business, and it caught up to me and it really kind of like slowed me down. And so if you can do this from day one, like you will be like set. So how I do it, I think Irene was saying the same thing. We both have like inspiration accounts. She does like DIY stuff. And so just finding something like big accounts basically, right? So you want to find an inspiration account for someone that's like, their followers are going to be like people that are similar to you. So like someone that you would follow is probably someone that one of your future customers would follow too. You're going to like the same things, do the same things. You could be maybe like baseball moms, or follow someone that's whatever. This one I have up here, she's got like 120,000 followers. So you want them to have a lot of people, because you want them to have a lot of followers that are also active and engaged on Instagram, because then you know that they'll be able to engage on your stuff too. So what I do is then I go follow their people who are commenting. So connect with the people that are commenting. Like I go to their most recent post, whatever people commented on there, I'll go through there and I'll just follow. Especially if they've got like a red circle around their name, that means they're putting stories up, and those people are probably especially active. And then I visit the profile of the people I just followed, and then I decide then if I'm going to keep following them or I'm going to unfollow them. And so I go, basically how I make that decision is if I go to their profile, these new people, and I can like or comment on like 1 to 3 posts, I will continue to follow them. If I'm like scrolling down for like from like a year back and I can't find a single post that they have up that I like, that I can genuinely comment something like, oh my God, your kid's so cute or whatever, I will just unfollow them right then. But if I do follow them and I'm like, okay, this girl seems cool, I've commented, I'm like, I love whatever you posted, that's hilarious, then I will send them a private message and it says something like this: I was going down an Instagram rabbit hole, just found your page, I love it, you seem so fun, or your kids are so cute, or whatever it is that's genuine, like why I actually liked their page, like for real. I'm excited to keep watching your stuff. And then I leave it at that. And then hopefully they will respond. Usually they will say, thank you so much, or that's so sweet. Then that's when I add them to new connections. And I'll show you where to do that too in the Success Club tracker. And I'll just also start a conversation with them. Something like, you're so welcome, glad we could connect, seems like we can relate. And then I'm starting to tell them about me. I live in Salem with my husband, our 3 kids. We moved down here last summer from Michigan. What about you? And then hopefully they will tell me about them. And then we just start building a friendship. So I think it's, for me, like this part of my initiating connections has been super helpful, and it's super easy. And it's also something I really, really like to do because most people respond to me. So let me just.
That's the same thing I do. And I think it's really like, it's important to remember. Like, I think when people start this business, they're like, oh, I don't want to like spam people and invite people that I don't know. We're not about that.
Yes.
It's so much more about finding people who you actually relate to. And like, this is where the inspo account is important, because if I was following DIY accounts, but I've never done DIY and I don't even, you know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't make sense. I would go try to connect to these people that love DIY, and we don't have that in common. And that's how I found that, you know, like, so you want to make sure you're sorry, the lawnmowers are here. It's so loud. You want to make sure you find ones that aren't like health and fitness accounts, right? So this should be something, when you're looking for an inspo account, it should be something that you feel like is a big part of like your current life right now. So like, we have Lynn's on the team, is engaged, she's getting married. She's probably gonna have inspo accounts that are related to that, because that's like her whole life, you know, it's like a second job to plan a wedding. So she's probably like consumed with that right now. but that doesn't mean that that's always going to be her inspo account. Next year, it might be new moms, we don't know. So like, it's important to recognize like, this is an evergreen, like alive like system, right? So when we get on these calls with top coaches and we're like, tell me your system, I just want to know, like, it's fluid, like it's constantly changing and evolving with you and your business. And it's important too to realize like a lot of them don't break down. Alicia was on a call on Friday and she was saying like she has all these virtual assistants and like there's a lot of different levels of this business. So it's really important to like it's good to look at other people and get some ideas, but you creating your own system for this, and it can be the same thing, but like you're going to have a just different inspo account than us. Your message might be a little bit different than that, right? So like you don't have to copy exactly what other people are doing. You just want to make sure that you're doing something that feels right for you and like you're assessing how it's working. Are you getting traction? Is every single person you're talking to like not responding? Then maybe we need a different inspo account with people that are a little bit more active on social. So it's like a fluid system that it's really trial and error, and we need to work on consistently implementing so that we can learn from what we're doing. Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to add that. I'm muting myself.
Is that okay, I was wondering what that was. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so I was going to show you guys too. So like I said, from here, after I send them that first initial thing, and then they respond, they're like, yeah, thank you so much, you're so sweet. This is kind of an actual conversation I had with someone today. And so I was going to show you. I would then add her to my connection. So her name's Christy. All right, so she responded. So anyone that responds and says blah, 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 and I'm like, cool, like, glad we could connect. What about you? We start a conversation. Then I'm going to go back here. I'm going to do this one more time so you guys can see what I'm doing. So where it says initiate connections and expand your network, then you can click here on the right. They just added this. It's really helpful. You can add connections. So add new connections, and I will type, that's the person that said something to me. I will also add her to a collection on Instagram, which maybe we can talk about a different day. And then you can select where you found them. And then I put their Instagram handle. Christy, I'm actually doing this. Sorry, you guys. OBM. And then I'll just put July. So I have a collection for everyone that I talked to in July that has this conversation, or in June that has this conversation with me. They go into a collection on my Instagram called July. But now I'm also saving it in here in Beachbody On Demand, and it'll show up for when we go to invite people. So it's actually really, really cool. So I forgot to talk to you guys about the timers, but for initiating connections, when I do that follow thing, I do that for 5 minutes. And then I go back through and I like, comment, or talk to those people. I will do that for 30 minutes. So this whole thing for me, it says 20 minutes here. It actually takes me about 35 minutes. It's like the biggest chunk of my day. But you could do it for 2 minutes and 10 minutes, like whatever time you have. That's why we like, if you have 15 minutes, I would add new people for 5 minutes and go then talk to them and connect with them for 15 minutes or 10 minutes. So the next thing I want to talk to you guys about then is on here is inviting people to join a bod group or learn about coaching. So this is kind of like two-part, especially if you're brand new. Your first people that you should be talking to aren't going to be strangers on Instagram, because you're just starting to add these people and connections. Like Irene said, I don't ever want to cold message anyone. These people that I added, I'm not sending them an invite the next day or the same day unless they ask me about it. If they're like, hey, I saw you do this, what's that about? Then we'll have a conversation about it. But for the most part, I'm connecting with these total strangers for a week or 2 weeks until maybe they watch my stories, and I'll talk to you guys about that too, and then how I handle that. But we're just trying to build relationships with people, and hopefully, most likely, I think probably for Irene too, generally those people ask us about it because we're showing up in our stories and our posts, and they're like, so like, what is it that you're doing? Or sometimes the way the conversation goes, I will, be like, so what do you do for work, or what does your husband do? And then they start telling me, and then usually they ask me, what do you do? And then I tell them, and then it kind of just opens it more naturally and organically. But for inviting people to join a bod group, well, first of all, hopefully you are in my challenge group or Irene's challenge group. You're not, or that you've been in one, you know how those go. That way you kind of have an idea. But inviting people to join a bod group. So I think you do need to be in a good headspace. Again, the personal development is key. And I'll just tell you guys that Danielle Natoni gave me this affirmation last March, like right when the pandemic hit. She did a power hour for the whole network. And I have this like saved on my screensaver. So before I send any invites, I always read this and say it to myself. And it says, I will not feel guilty for sharing what saved my life. Now more than ever, people need my help. So, you guys, home workouts are here to stay at this point. I think everyone through this pandemic has learned that this is so effective and efficient, and it's really awesome. And we're not isolated. We have this community. And so right now people need us. They need our groups, they need our challenge groups, they need our supplements, everything that we have. Like Irene was talking about, her wellness center, that was like her dream. That's what this is. That's why she loves Beachbody, and she knows it was like her fucking thing, because this is like all of the things. We have total solutions. And right now, I will not feel guilty for inviting people to do this, because I know it saved my life. I know it's changed my life, and I know it can change theirs too. And so I feel zero guilt about that. And so I just wanted to say that before I tell you kind of like how I invite people. But this PowerPoint too, we will post in the group, but I just wanted you guys to see, and I send this to my new coaches too. There's two different types of people. You have friends and family, like the people that that you like have coffee with or lunch, the people that are your friends and family that aren't just like Facebook friends. They're not like your friend Jessica from high school who you haven't talked to in 20 years. It's like people you know and trust. I would send them a message that is like this. I would send every single aunt, uncle, cousin, brother, sister, anyone that you know that is your friend or family that loves you, something along this, like around like this. So I'll just read it. Not sure if you saw my post. I partnered with an amazing company and I decided to become an online health coach. I'm asking people closest to me for support and feedback with some of the programs and products that I'm using. I know you've been and then you could insert a personal, like something personal that if it's like your girlfriend and you guys have been talking about getting healthy for 2 years, you could say, I know we've been talking about getting healthy for months. I need a few friends who will help me practice while I get started and figure out what I'm doing. If you end up loving it, great. Either way, I promise we're going to have fun. Will you try out this new program with me and give me your feedback? So every invite should end with a, will you help me? Will you do this? Will you do this? Can I send you info? You always end with a question. And so you can call someone and say something like this. You could text them, you can email them, however you get a hold of your friends and family. But I really encourage you guys to make a list. You should start you have a long list probably going, you should, but you have at least 10 friends that when you get off this call today, you should go send them a message, because our goal for you is we want you to have 3 people signed up by the end of this month. And so you have 3 friends that could use this and that could benefit from this. So if you send everyone this message, I guarantee you're going to get some people that are like, sure. And then I'll give you a second to say something when I finish this thought, Irene. But we just want you to have the courage to ask your friends and family. And so if they do say yes, if you're one of my coaches or one of my coaches in my downline, I want you guys, if they say yes, to say, thank you so much. While I'm learning, I'm going to add you to a 3-way message with my coach, and she will help explain how we can get you started. Because I really want you to see how I work them through that conversation. And because it's going to be different, like what you might say to your mom or your sister is going to be way different than what you would say to a total stranger. And so I'm a stranger to them. So I want you to see what it's like to talk to a stranger. And also you might not have all of the challenge pack information. And I want you to see that we don't just like say, okay, great, do this program. Here's how much it costs. We ask them questions still. So that's that. Irene, what are your thoughts about
Yeah.
inviting?
I think it, like, The types of conversations and people that you're going to be talking to is going to like shift mostly in your first few months of business, because we do have, you know, our warm market, like our parents, and there is a lot of benefit in the business like vision in like signing up a spouse and having like people specifically under you as your first coaches, even if they're just discount coaches. Like my husband is the first coach that I signed up. Um, and I placed him the way that the upline told me to place him. Like I had no freaking idea what I was doing, but I trust them, right? Because I know that they've built these huge businesses. So I did that first. And I'm so glad that I did, because um now I know that like what he's in that spot and nobody can take that spot. Like he's in my first weak leg spot, and that's the best spot for your spouse to be, or like your mom. So and I know that that's not really what we're talking about, but there is like a business strategy behind it. But in the beginning it is family, and a lot of people are more intimidated having the conversations with people you actually know. So I love the idea of having one of us getting on the call with you to, yeah, see how, as we are strangers, they're not strangers to you, they're your parents or your best friends or your sisters, but they're strangers to us. And it kind of shows, like, people get worried about sales, like feeling salesy, but like to me, this is a very personal business. Like I'm going to get on the phone with your mom who I've never talked to before and ask her a bunch of shit that you probably don't even know the answer to because you've never asked her before, you know, like you want to get into like the real issue and like the real things that they struggle with, because that's how you can help them, is understanding what the thing is that's holding them back. 9 times out of 10, the conversation is like, I've tried everything. And sometimes they've tried Beachbody before. I tried Beachbody before 7 years ago. You know, like they're like, I've tried literally everything under the sun. It's not like the issue is me. I just like, I start and after 2 weeks, I can't do it. And I'm like, okay, well, have you ever like had a coach? Have you ever done personal development? Like, what do you think is the thing that holds, you know, like it's a whole series of questions, like digging into some like serious stuff. And I'm not afraid to ask those questions, you know, but that's because I've been doing it for 3 years. And I know that if I don't, I've seen the difference. I've seen the conversations that aren't deep and that don't get into that kind of stuff. And those people like are the first ones to kind of run away, because it even to you, it feels more salesy. Like I don't want someone to connect and be like, I think I want to get into your group. And we'd be like, okay, sweet. Here's the thing. Like, go ahead and sign up. Like, I don't know anything about you. You might know everything about me because I share all my shit on social media, but like I don't know shit about you. So like you're gonna need to like give me something so that I can know how to coach you best. And that makes the difference, because people at that point, they understand like, okay, clearly she's not in this to just like sell me a challenge pack, right? Like she actually cares that I like stick with it, or that I actually make a change, or that I'm struggling and that I need help and she knows how to help me. You know, like it starts to build that coach mentor and coach challenger like relationship before they even sign up. And what we always like to say too is like, the relationship doesn't end with the sale, which a lot of companies, like people that sell Monat, the shampoo, and like, you know, they're buying a product that they're just like, you use it in the shower. Like I don't need to reach out to my Monat rep and like tell her how my hair is doing. Like I just use the freaking shampoo, you know. But like, so to me, like they recruit you, you buy your product, great, that's it, you just keep buying product from them. But from us, like the sale is actually the start of the relationship. The sale is like the beginning of the journey. So again, this is like where mindset totally comes into play. But when you're having these conversations, it's good to practice. And like especially with people that you already know, like your mom isn't going to ghost you and like never talk to you again like a stranger on Instagram could do, right? So like it is important to have these conversations in practice. And obviously it helps when we can be there and kind of support you and show you how we do stuff too. But it's all part of the learning curve, you know. Like I don't know, I just went, I like my tangents are insane today, I'm really sorry.
You're fine. Okay, I think that's good. So you can add your connections in there. Once you, like I was saying, so we're inviting, but like once you add those connections, they're gonna automatically go in here. So I can go today and see who I have to invite. Oh my God, what went wrong? Oh, sorry. The next one is following up too. So sorry for these issues. I I think that like us talking to your people too, like putting them in a conversation with us, like Irene said too, something about it can be really awkward to like talk to your mom or sister about some of this stuff. And for me anyway, it was just kind of like, mom, just do it. Like I didn't really care what her goals were. You know what I mean? I just like felt like I was forcing her, my best friend, into doing it. And so maybe for them, I don't know how they're still signed up, but I just wonder if it ever, you know, they might not have taken it as seriously as like, oh, this can actually help me. I'm not just helping Alicia. I'm actually going to be able to like help myself and like accomplish some of my goals. And so I think this will just help your people to actually kind of like not only be helping you, but also realize that they can actually help themselves. And if you love them, you know, we should be wanting everyone to feel their best. And that's what we're all about. So all right, hopefully this works, but all the people that you add to your connections will automatically go into this like invite thing. And so until you like invite them, they'll just be in this like list that you have. And so whenever I feel like I need to go invite these people, and then I can put a check mark next to their name and know that they've been in like, and let's just see there's anyone in here. Okay, let's see. I know I've invited her since we talked. And so then this is really cool. So I send Lindsay an invite, like something like, hey, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I should tell you maybe what a better invite would sound like. Hey, Lindsay, thank you so much. Like, I don't know if you saw any of my stories, but I've got this challenge group opening. I would love for you to do this next one with us. It's going to be amazing. We're focusing on fitness, nutrition, and mindset. You know, can I send you some more information? And then she's like, sure. Or she's like, no, not right now. Then I can send a follow-up. So maybe she's like, not right now, check back next month or whatever. Then I can like send, like I can schedule like a follow-up for next month, which I think is just really cool. Like this helps me so much with like tracking people and like part of this business, like the most important part, I think, is like tracking, just like with our health journeys. Like when we don't track how much water we have, we don't track our containers or what we're eating, we just don't drink as much water and we like eat way more like yellows than we probably normally do. So I think tracking helps us on our fitness journey. Tracking is like the only way to like see the patterns in your business and to like see where maybe you need to like, oh crap, I don't do this enough at all. And so this will really help. I love that they have this all set up. So
I love it too. It definitely, it felt super. I feel like when I first started, I had like people's names written in like 7 different journals. It was like everything was so scattered. So this really helps to keep it all in one place, and it helps to not let people fall through the cracks because it'll keep them on the list until you like follow up with them.
So it's like I've got this binder, this paper binder, but I don't know how long. Like if we move like that, you know, my kids could throw that in the toilet or garbage, like it just could go away. And then I'd be like, where are all my follow-ups? So I think it's crazy, huge. Speaking of follow-ups or just doing a social media post, we already talked about that, updating your story throughout the day. If you're not inviting, so you're inviting new people that you don't know, and then you're inviting like friends and family. And so what Irene and I talked about is like, we don't send cold invites, but like every day I have stories up and every day I have a post up, and that's where most of my invites are coming from. And so I have these new connections. They're like, hey, I'm like, hey, you know, I'm Alicia, I've got 3 kids, blah, blah, blah. Then my goal, my hope is that they'll follow me back. They'll start watching my stories. And because once they start watching my stories, if they like one of my workout videos or they comment on one of my transformation pictures, they're going to get an invite. And that's not a cold invite anymore. That means they're in my store. They're liking what I'm saying about what we have going on. They're commenting. And so it's not like a cold invite anymore. And so I send them. So friends who watch my Beachbody stories, people who watch your stories, comment or post, are all people that you can send invites to, and it's not a cold invite because they're there watching. So I will say something along the lines of, thank you for watching my crazy life. In case you missed it or thought I was talking to someone else, I have a virtual health group opening soon and would love it if you did this with us. Can I tell you more about it? And so that is so easy to do. And so if you're brand new, like today, you should be on, like, part of your thing was like launch your business, start your own transformation journey. So you should be doing a workout program. You should be drinking Shakeology or Recover, Energize. So you videotape your workout, take a picture of you making your shake, a boomerang or something, put those on your stories today, see who watches them, and then you can send them something like this. Like, you can do that, especially if you know them. If you don't know them, I will send something like this before I actually invite them. So if it's just like a brand new person that I've never actually connected with, but they watched my stories randomly, or I'm not friends with them maybe, or I don't follow them yet, I will say something like, oh my gosh, thanks for stopping by on my story. It's crazy over here. Putting myself out there isn't always easy. You never know if you're making a difference, but I appreciate you being here, Alicia. And then they might say, yeah, thanks, whatever, you're so inspiring, or blah, blah, blah. Then we start a real conversation. And then they might even ask about what workout are you doing or whatever. And then I can send the same invite from the previous slide too. So Irene, you invite from your stories and stuff too, right?
I invite probably mostly from my stories. Like a shitload of my invites come from my stories. And not even just invites, conversations, starting relationships, like, because they don't even have to be following you to watch a story. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's one of my favorite places to connect with people from.
Yep. So
my apologies.
I think the only other thing I wanted to say about like responding, so whenever you put a post up, like Irene already talked about this when she was talking about posts too, is like once you get a post up, like make sure you're like able to then start communicating, like, or having some of this like time blocked off. Like if you get a post up, give yourself 10 or 15 minutes, maybe an hour afterwards, to respond to all the people that are liking your post or commenting. And so I think the rule on Facebook and probably Instagram too is if somebody comments or likes my post, I will like their comment and then I comment back something like, thank you so much. So, because then I think it like pushes your story up or feed up or whatever. So just make sure you're doing that right away too. And also it's kind of like if somebody walks, like we were talking about having a brick and mortar building, like a brick and mortar store, like if Instagram or our Facebook is our store and people are watching our stories or commenting on our post, like if we had a brick and mortar building and like we were just sitting at the cash register and people were like coming into our store and like literally holding up a shirt to you and saying like, I love this blouse, and you just ignore them, like that's fucking nuts. So like you need to say, thank you. Like, do we have it in your size? Let's figure it out. Like you wouldn't just ignore people that walked into your store, especially if you just started your business. You would be like on top of every single person that liked something or commented, because like that's your people. They might not sign up with you right away. It sometimes takes a month. I've had people like just sign up with me now that started liking and commenting on my stories 18 months ago or 15 months ago, so it's like takes time to build trust with people. But like if you're ignoring them, they're going to stop watching your stories. They're going to be like, well, nobody cares, there's a 400,000 other Beachbody coaches, not active, but like there's other Beachbody coaches that they can go sign up with if you're just ignoring them. So please don't ignore people in your stories. Those are your people. That's all I need to say about that. I think that's pretty much it as far as today goes. We can give them some homework and then wrap it up. What do you think?
Yeah, sorry, he was just using the blower like right outside my office. Yeah, like responding to all the comments. And honestly, if you can't do it right after, and it just like a lot of power hours that we get on, sometimes they'll start by saying like, go to your last post and make sure that you responded to all the comments. So as long as you're going back and checking, and just like liking and responding in some way, it does help with the algorithm, but it also helps to make sure that we're like engaging with the people that are already following us, because that is a really important, those are important relationships to nurture. So yeah.
other thing I was just going to show them too, I forgot really quick. I was looking at my notes. So we're under the Get People Results tab. At first, you're not going to have like your own challenge group. Maybe you do, but like contributing to your challenge group, like you can be in your coaches group and working on encouraging everyone in that group. Like you probably already are. That's probably why we were like, you should come be a coach because you're so inspiring and encouraging. But like, if you're not already, please get in that group and start showing your face, start to build up some confidence and encourage our customers, like, because we love that. Like I can't always be on top of everything that goes on in my challenge group. So when my coaches go in there and like they're encouraging people, it's so amazing. And it's just how you'll start to feel like, okay, I can do this. And then the other one that's following up with new Shakeology users. This is like really helpful, you guys. So if you go to this over here on the far left tab, Shakeology Follow-Up, whenever you sign up a new customer, you can add them in here and like put their start date and like when you should check up with them. So like the first month I check in with them at least usually daily the first week, but then we like once a week with my new customers. And so you can add all these people in there so you make sure you don't like lose track of them. I love this. And so you can do that. So you just add customers. So once they say yes, you've invited them, they sign up, put them in there. So you remember to follow up with them. It's like one of the things I think some of my newer coaches still are like struggling with is like following up with people. Because sometimes people just don't know. They like don't know how to make their shake. So in the first week, like I'm like, message me once you get your package. They get their package. And the first thing I do is I'm like, okay, like promise me you have a blender, you will get out some ice, almond milk, water, whatever, and you will blend your Shakeology. Please don't shake it up like a friggin' caveman. Like it is so good. It is my favorite thing that I eat all day. Like it is like dessert. And when people tell me they just shook it up, they're like, I didn't like it. I'm like, of course you didn't. You ruined it. Like you need to blend it. It's the number one thing. So I need you to understand that your customers need to know how to do this, like, because they won't know unless you tell them. And so that's another reason it's important for you to be drinking this stuff too. Like you need to know what your favorite, how you make it, what's your favorite way to make it. And then obviously we can send them a bunch of recipes, but just make sure they're making it and finding a flavor that they love because it is so healthy and it's the best thing they're going to eat or drink all day. And it's the best thing that I like literally, like when I say best thing, I mean, it's the best for me, but I also like legit love it. Like it's so good. And so as long I just want to make sure that we are like, it is so important. I think, Irene, that we like help our customers, help their people understand how to make this and like that they like it. Because I don't want to push shakes on people, but I also want to give them the best chance of doing something that's going to benefit them forever.
Yes. And I think too, what I usually tell people is like, people like think about when you order stuff, like most people don't open it the second they get it. Like the bag sits there for a week or they have a shake like when they remember. And so they have like 2 a week, like I tell them like, I want you to feel the benefits of it. And the best way to do that is to commit, like have one every single day for the first 30 days. If after that, you don't feel the benefits of it, that we'll talk about it. But I know that they will, because you know what I mean? Like it is impossible for them to not, but I put that expectation in their head because otherwise they're just going to be like lackadaisical about it. They're going to be like, have it here and there and be like, sure, it tastes good, but it's not like amazing. And I don't think it's worth the you know what I mean? Like they're not thinking of it in like how they should be thinking of it. It's our job to explain to them, like, it is the healthiest thing. It doesn't matter how healthy you eat. Like you need that additional boost of superfoods and everything that's in there, probiotics, prebiotics, all the things. But the only way you're actually going to feel the benefits of it, like in your energy, in your food cravings, is if you're consistently drinking it every day. So like at least commit to that. And then you can decide for yourself if it's something you want, because I'm the same way. I'm not here to like force people to drink shakes, but I do know that it's one of the most important things that they can be doing for their health and they should be doing it. So I want to set them up with a chance, a like solid chance to show themselves, okay, this really does help me. Like this really is making me not crave chocolate anymore. This really is giving me more energy. This really is making me feel more satisfied. I'm not like starving at the, whatever the case may be, like it's going to help them solve that problem, but only if they consistently implement for the first month. And that does require us, making sure that that's happening. And plus we want to check in because we want to hear those testimonials. Like that's testimonials. If anybody's like, hell yeah, I've been drinking it every day for a week and I freaking love it, like I need to know that. One of my brother's fiance referred her stepmom to me, and she has a step brother who still lives with them. And like, so she ordered 9-week Control Freak. It took her forever to like start doing it, but then they started drinking it. Like the whole family is obsessed with Shakeology. They get like 2 bags minimum a month. Like, so, like it really is something that, and they're used to having protein shakes, but they could tell the difference because this isn't just a protein shake. They could tell the difference when they started using it consistently. And it's just like so important. But people don't do that immediately. It does take us our guidance.
I mean, I was the same way. I think when the first time I ever did Beachbody, I got a bag of Shakeology and I was like, this stuff is so good. I really liked it then too, the way I do now, like the taste of it. But I was like, it was so expensive. I didn't think I could afford it. And so I would like drink it like once or twice a week just to save it. And it's like, oh no. So I never got the actual benefits of like the health benefits of it, like the energy and like it helps my sleep and like cravings and all that stuff. And so now I think it took me probably about like 6 weeks to notice a difference where I was like, wow, like when I wake up in the morning, I don't feel like I need caffeine right away. And it would like I would like be like going into like almost lunchtime where I was like, I'm good. That was like the first thing I noticed because that was like obvious. Like I wasn't buying as many Red Bulls and crap I used to drink. So yeah. And Scott too, like my husband drinks it now every day and every day it's like he doesn't eat as much. He can whatever.
Mine too.
So it's good. I do have some homework just to kind of wrap it up too, like what they can do, like a to-do list of stuff. And I'm going to post these slides too, but making sure we're adding new people every day, aim to add at least 3 to new five people every day, start new conversations with people, just become a professional friend maker. I think I've heard Melanie Mitro say that. And I was like, oh, I liked that. I do like it. So, and then inviting people to your challenge group. So knowing that we have a group coming up, know what you're inviting to. It's super important. We talked about that last week. Following up with people that you connected with, like you're going to get ghosted. Like people, like when you send them those invites, even your friends and family, when you're like, can I tell you more about it? Like most people are not going to say yes. They're just going to ghost you. Right, Irene? Do you feel like that's right? And so sometimes they'll say, yeah, tell me more about it. And then I start and I'm like asking them questions and then they're gone. And I don't think that it's intentional. I think just most people aren't on instant messenger like we are because it's our job. People are busy. And even myself, like I forget to answer messages too. So I think just saying, hey, what's going on? Like, do you have any questions for me? Just like following up with those people, like making sure you're checking in. And then the rest of the things we talked about. Hey, Sloan. So working out, drinking Shakeology, personal development, and then posting at least 3 to 5 times a day. That's not. This is for you. That is a week. Sorry. That's so pretty. Thanks. 3 to 5 times a week, I think is good. But probably 7 to 10 stories a day. At least, right? What do you think?
Yeah. I think it's really important to start getting used to using the bat, even if you're not checking every single box every day. Like just start getting used to it. Start like playing around in there so you can like learn it, and obviously start trying to come up with ways on Instagram to like find those new people and start conversations and just become social. Honestly, like be social on social media, but using the bat, like if you want a direct shot to like make the most impact and start your business off on a really good path and grow as fast as possible, it's doing the bat every day, like as much as you possibly can, completing the bat and getting consistent with it. So hopefully this was helpful to teach you how to use it. And obviously whenever you guys have questions, like you can ask us directly. You can ask your upline coach if it's somebody who's under us, like post in the group. There's like, we're always around to help you. But the most important thing is, just trying to get your feet wet. Like the best way you learn is by taking action. So don't try to learn everything before you do anything. Just start trying to do, and then you'll learn the most.
Yes. That's what I'm glad you said that. That's like what I was going to say too, is that we want you to do the bat every day, and you don't have to like wait until you know how to do all those things or have a system like Irene and I do. Like just do a little bit of some of it and you'll figure out your own way and how to do it. Cause we all do it differently a little bit. So yeah.
Yeah. The best
Perfect.
way.
And what is it, like imperfect action is better than perfect inaction or something?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But the only way to know what's going to work for you is by trying different things and figuring that out. And the only thing that really matters is that you're actually doing it. So the how is what you figure out along the way, you know?
yes. Like that book I'm reading, Start. That's like what his whole point is. He's like, it is so hard to start. Like it's the hardest thing you'll ever do in business. Like whenever you start anything, that is going to be the hardest, like getting the ball moving. So we want you to get the ball moving as quickly as possible now. So that
Yeah.
when we have all these exciting things starting in the fall, like in the end of the summer, like you will be like ready to go. You will have lots of people to invite because there are going to be lots of people that are going to be online signing up for the stuff that we have coming. So we just want you to be set up for success moving forward, especially this fall. Okay.
All right.
Yay. No questions because I think everyone jumped on.